Hello everyone, today I will be reading The Snow Queen, based on the story by Hans Christian Andersen, illustrated by Alan Marks. Before I start, it would mean a lot to me if you could please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell. Thank you. Chapter 1. The Magic Mirror. There was once a wicked demon who made a magic mirror. This mirror made everything good look twisted and ugly. Anything bad looked even worse. It's a fine mirror, snarled the demon's students. Let's show it off to the angels. Flapping their leathery wings, they flew up and up until smash! The mirror slipped from their hands, crashed to the ground, and broke into a million tiny pieces. Some pieces were no bigger than a grain of sand, but they were as powerful as the whole mirror. If a speck flew into someone's eye, everything looked horrible and wrong. But if a splinter struck a person's heart, that heart began to freeze. Chapter 2. Gerda and Kay. Not long after the mirror shattered, a girl named Gerda was living next door to a boy named Kay. In all the world, no two friends were as close. One winter's day, as snow was falling, Gerda's grandmother told them the story of the Snow Queen. She lives in the icy north, but in winter she flies around disguised as a snowflake. Beware of her, the grandmother warned. She's a wicked woman. But don't worry, she added. If your heart is pure, you'll always see the queen for who she is. Wandering home, Kay gazed at the glittering snowflakes. Drifting down, as he stared, he noticed one flake seemed larger than the others. Then he gasped. The snowflake was definitely growing bigger, until it became a beautiful woman. She was astonishing. Her shimmering white clothes were coated in snow, and she herself was made entirely of ice. The Snow Queen! The woman turned her cold, bright eyes on Kay. He shook his head and she vanished. I must have imagined her, he thought. Winter passed and Kay forgot all about the Snow Queen. Then one day, while he and Gerda watered the roses in her window box, Kay suddenly cried out, Kay, what is it? Ow! My heart and my eye! He had felt a sharp jab in his eye and another piercing his heart. But neither Kay nor Gerda could see what had happened. The jabs came from splinters of the broken mirror. At once, Kay began to change and grow cruel. Those roses are crooked and ugly. But Kay, you've always loved them. Seeing Gerda's frightened face made him angry. He jumped up and left. Gerda listened sadly to his boots creaking down the stairs. After that, Kay saw everything differently. He began to argue and make fun of people in the street. He even mocked Gerda and her roses, though she still loved him. Next winter, Kay ignored Gerda altogether and joined the boys on their sleds in the town square. As they played, a dazzling white sleigh rolled into the square. Its driver was dressed in white from her fur hat to her pointed boots. Everyone but Kay ran away. He shouted, "This looks fun," and tied his sled to the snow-white sleigh. The two sharp splinters of mirror had blinded him to danger, for the driver was none other than the Snow Queen herself. The sleigh picked up speed and Kay laughed with excitement. Hurtling around the square, they dashed out through the city gates. On and on they flew, through swirling snow. All too soon, the sleigh stopped. As the driver stood up, Kay realized who she was. The Snow Queen. "You must be frozen. Come and join me in my sleigh." Quickly, the Queen kissed Kay and his icy heart grew colder. She kissed him again and he forgot all about home. He was trapped. Chapter 3. Gerda's Search. In town, no one knew where Kay had gone. All through the cold, dead winter, Gerda was too sad to do anything. But when spring came, with no sign of her best friend, she decided to look for him. "My dear, Kay may not be alive." "I don't believe it." "The river flows a long way," she thought. "Perhaps the river has passed him on its travels." Putting on her best red shoes, she went down to the river. "If I give you my new red shoes, will you take me to Kay?" She threw her shoes into the river as a gift, but they floated back to her, so she climbed into a boat to throw them further in, and the boat swept her away. She floated for hours. Gerda was afraid, but she couldn't turn back. She hoped the river would take her past someone who had seen Kay, but she saw no one. As dusk fell, she spotted a rose-covered cottage. The boat began to drift to the bank and an old woman hobbled over. You poor child, are you lost? The old woman helped Gerda onto the bank, and Gerda told her all about Kay. She described their happy days, playing until he suddenly changed. First he grew mean, then he disappeared altogether. Now the old woman wasn't wicked, but she did know a little magic, and she lived a lonely life. I'll make sure that girl stays with me, she muttered and cast a spell. To be extra sure, she made all her roses vanish. She didn't want to remind Gerda of the roses at home and her search for Kay. Eat as many cherries as you like. Her magic worked. Gerda played happily in the woman's garden, and her old life was soon no more real than a dream. Even so, sometimes she had a feeling that something wasn't quite right. Gerda might have stayed in the cottage forever, but one day she spotted a painted flower on the woman's hat. It was a rose. In that moment, Gerda remembered everything. Kay, she cried. How could I forget you? Oh, I've wasted so much time. Without even saying goodbye to the old woman, she ran away. Chapter 4. Kay in the Castle. Meanwhile, the Snow Queen had taken Kay to her magnificent castle in the far north. Kay was neither happy nor sad. His feelings were frozen inside him. He sat at the Queen's feet on a vast icy lake. So cold he was almost blue, but he didn't notice. The Queen sat sighing on her throne, bored. Looking down on Kay, she decided to play a game with him. Solve my puzzle and I'll set you free, she declared. Kay looked at her blankly. The Queen waved a pale hand at some blocks of ice. If you put those in the right order, they will spell a word, she said, with a cruel smile. Slowly, Kay's frozen brain realized she was telling him to spell something. He so wanted to please her, but he just couldn't do it. The Snow Queen laughed. You'll never do it, my icicle boy, she said. Her cold laugh bounced off the walls of the castle. But it's amusing to watch you try.